Games Workshop's Basement. Hosted by John Quennell,
Danny McDevitt,
Val Heffelfinger. I'm Dickie.
Oh, we didn't get the new
It's
pick.
Grim After Dark.
Welcome to Grim After Dark, Warhammer 40,000's only late night show for some reason. My name is John, and I'm here to misinform and entertain as we talk about the goings-on over the last week in the world of Warhammer. Tonight, we're going to recap Danny's exploits in a Danny-centric state of play. We're going to figure out the top 5 candidates for Team USA captain. We're going to go around the net, and we have a brand new Grim game. But before we go on, if you enjoy what you see or what you listen to, you can support us by liking or subscribing wherever it will let you. And if you're able to, throw a couple dollars our way by becoming a member on YouTube or super chatting the answer to this question: what was your best GT experience? Now, let's meet the team. First up, he's the co-host with the co-most. He carries a true bill of friendship all the way from Moscow, Idaho, is Danny McDevitt. And then he's the beautiful face of everything square-based, a fantasy enthusiast and casual 40k enjoyer. It's Val Heffelfinger. And finally, he's the man behind the curtain, the guy who puts the coach in Canada, is superstar producer Dickie.
Hey,
Man,
I gotta
there's so
do
much
the
energy in this room right now.
It's a little hot in this rhino.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah, I gotta do the timing way better on that one. We still have like a good 15 seconds of superlatives I could throw out from that guy.
Danny, John, that was an amazing intro. You got all of the calls to action right off the hop.
That's
You
fair.
came in
Fair.
with energy.
I did.
I don't think there's anything to be self-critical about. I think it was awesome, dude.
Oh yeah, I always do. That's what we've got to do. Danny, Chad saying you're looking dapper this evening. Chad, this man has just literally dragged himself out of a car at my behest to be here for us today. But
Well, I don't know about that.
did you
At your
walk?
behest? Behest
Yeah.
of what? Okay, cool. Yeah.
I also kind of imagine Danny's car is like Hightower from Police Academy. He just like took the front seat out and drives from the back.
It's just a regular car, Bell.
He's a normal size. He's not
It's a
8 foot
Subaru
tall.
Forester.
A Forester.
That's right.
It's classy.
Good.
Uh,
Great.
Beautiful.
Lesbians love him.
It has made several trips through Canada, I believe, at this point, and still going strong. Quality
Forest.
vehicles.
Forest.
We're going to move straight on here to our comment of the week. This week brought to you by our friends at Frontline Gaming, open 24/7 at frontlinegaming.org, and all your GW product at a discounted prices there, or better yet, through their secondhand store. Anyway, this week's comment of the week comes straight from our Discord, thanks to Paul Winters, who says, found the last time Chaos Marines were good, and it's a picture of the 3rd edition Chaos Space Marine Codex. Danny, is this
Wow.
true?
I think it's funny. Our comment of the week is a sideways picture.
Oh, man,
Also,
if you like that, you're gonna love the rest of the show.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
that's-
Fantastic.
Without seeing the masthead, we cannot confirm whether that is in fact the 3.5 edition of the
Oh.
Codex. Because that is.
It is.
That
for
is.
sure.
That is. Did
It is.
the picture change on it?
Yes.
Then I'm an idiot.
I'm really happy, Danny, that you chose to roast me for the orientation of half of a picture I screenshotted and not for getting the edition wrong.
John, we've still got an hour left. So
Danny's eating up.
That's fair. That's fair enough. But was 3.5 the last time Chaos Space Marines were good?
no.
No.
Perfect. Perfect.
There's been
Val?
lots of times the Chaos Space Marines have
They've
been
had
good.
their moment. Yeah, they've had a few like builds and moments for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
I think that it's disgusting that you're thinking Paul Winters, who plays nothing exclusively but terrible / demons, has a bad opinion about Chaos Space Marines.
Oh.
It's
Okay,
it's
great. Good to know.
unknown. Terrible. Danny, let's run the little thing. Hopefully it's still speeded up. Let's do a little state of play.
Oh, I totally forgot to do that.
Beautiful.
I'm just gonna
So-
go to bumper and hopefully it works. Nope.
Nope.
That's a different one.
This one.
Over.
Nah,
There you go.
All right. Got there.
Danny, you did something almost unheard of by a host of this show, and you actually played Warhammer this weekend.
That's true.
Tell us a little bit about the event you went to.
I went to Harbor Heresy this weekend, which was a 5-game tournament at Lion Guard Gaming in Hoquiam, Washington. This is the last time that they'll be running an event there, probably, because the owner is selling the store to the city.
Oh,
so
to the
The
city?
city.
which is a bummer. Yeah, I think they're going to make like some kind of a transit depot out of it or something.
Oh, okay.
Dang. I thought the
Yep.
city was going to get in the Magic the Gathering business and kind of make some sweet tax dollars.
Yeah. So it was a really fun time this weekend. I had an amazing time playing Warhammer. Warhammer's in a really great place right now. So if you're not playing Warhammer, you probably should.
Thanks, man. I appreciate the direct line of eye contact, even though we're not staring.
This is John, this is a televised show, so I'm not making direct eye contact with you, I promise.
Danny, you also got to play on stream. We do have a picture of that stream up here, where you use some fantastic looking objective markers, even though really great shows don't have any of their own merch.
Beautiful.
It's true.
Yeah,
I
you
pulled out
played,
a classic out of storage.
as I should probably do. I was very supportive with my messaging here when you said come watch me in stream. When I said that Necron dude looks like a nerd.
Thanks, John.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. It's the kind of support I think
That's
we can
love.
all expect. That is.
Yeah.
Tell us sort of about your general experience. Like, how did the GT go for you? You said you took Necrons, which is something like I don't think you've done for a while. What made you choose Necrons? Was it just kind of your
I probably haven't played Necrons in about 6 months, so it's been a minute. And then so I played 5 games. I won 3. I drew 1 and lost 1. So lost to Tau. Tau is really good right now, and really good specifically against this army. Just because they can delete 40 warriors no problem, or 20 warriors no problem anytime that one of those crisis units shoots. So
Yeah.
can't really do anything about that. I kept the game within 15 points, and that was about as good as I could probably do in that one.
Were they playing GW Strain here?
Yep. Which
Yeah.
is way the best way to play the game, I think. I don't think it's even a question. It's amazing. So, like I said, like the game is in a really good place right now, especially when you're using this stuff. It just it feels like there's a bunch of different faction diversity and different things that are really good. So, I mean, if you looked even at the top 10, like you'd see that there were a ton of different armies represented. So not just the same characters.
Yeah,
which is great.
That is a really awesome and glowing review, actually.
Yeah.
Um,
It's always good to see like when the game's in a good place, especially when you get around like kind of GT level events like Danny goes to here, where sometimes it's not necessarily like the most positive outlook towards the game and where it is. But yeah, like hearing, and I think you're not the only player coming out of events this weekend talking about kind of the great state of the game. Do you think that was just the balanced data slate that did like a really great number and leveling things out, or is that just kind of people getting used to the rule set as well?
It's the balanced data slate. Yeah, it's not anything else.
Yeah,
because the game was horribly broken before this. I mean, you saw top 10 finishes that were like all Eldar.
Yeah.
So, and it also helped here in this event that we only had, I think, maybe 2 Eldar players. I don't
were there people who maybe switched off of Eldar because there's some other more interesting stuff, or was it? Do you think just that was like the meta? There just weren't a lot of Eldari.
I just think that there weren't a ton of Eldari at that event. That would be my, not that they were bad, because Eldar are still extremely good.
Yeah.
So
that's my secret to enjoying Warhammer Fantasy so much. Just never play elves.
Well, why would you not want to play the best faction?
I think that's just why I'm so naive. That's really the key. That's really the thing.
I think it's sort of similar to, I was talking to, like, I'm very excited. There's like a Cyberpunk video game DLC coming soon. And they were like, are you excited to play it? I'm like, no. And they're like, when? I was like, because I had a really broken character that abused a bunch of the mechanics. And now they've totally changed it. So I can't do that anymore. So I don't know quite how to play the game right now. Do you think some of that's true for some of why we weren't seeing as much Eldari over the weekend, Danny?
Because people were upset that their broken army was fixed.
Well, no, that it was fixed, but some of the stuff they were leaning on before, some of the things they were doing might not necessarily work anymore.
I mean, I couldn't speak to what people's motivations were. If I were going to speculate, I'm sure it was more of a case of people just bringing the armies that they wanted to play.
Heck yeah.
Which is great. So we saw some really great finishes. armies that were in the bottom bracket are, like Votan, for instance, I think getting second place at this tournament.
Yeah.
Space Wolves getting fourth was pretty cool. And then Chaos Knights winning the event.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So a lot of different factions that maybe you didn't see quite as many of before. So yeah, really good diversity, really good turnout. A lot of fun.
That's awesome. Game's in a great place. Let's continue the positivity by going through our top 5 of the week. If Dickie can remember the button.
I remember the
He
button.
doesn't have a
Top
button.
5 of the week.
Is it a key?
It's like a series of clicks.
Yeah, I forgot to cut it off really early. It's nothing to do with data slave balance adjustments. We just talked about that. That's gone. That's in the past. What we're talking about this week here is something I've wanted to talk about for a couple of weeks now. It is Team USA, Warhammer 40k's premier American team for team tournaments, and the brand new. I forget the amazing name the company has, but the nonprofit that was set up to figure out annual captaincy of the team as well as membership.
They went that far?
They
Yeah.
did. Yeah, they have bylaws. They have everything. It's all very above the board.
That's
And
amazing.
so what's their first action? Vote Sean Naden in as president for as team captain this year. What a fucking joke.
So I will say that technically they have a board of people who vote for who the captain is. I will say
Okay.
the board is full of people who will just vote for Sean Naden, most likely.
Apparently.
But
Never put something to a vote that you don't know you're going to win.
That's true.
That is the sign of a true captain.
yeah. If we go down to the next slide here, Dickie, I can read the little press release from this. It says, "We are excited to announce that the captaincy of the USA National Warhammer 40K team," oh, this was right, this was the terrible name, "will now be governed by the U.S. Wargaming Federation," which is like the worst backyard wrestling organization in America.
I don't know. U.S. Wargaming Federation. All right, I'm in.
They're-
No, I'm still
Yeah,
on
I'm
this
on board
ride.
with that name.
Their Warhammer 40K committee, though. By the way, Val, I think even though you're Canadian, maybe you can get in on their fantasy committee. I don't know if that's a thing. I would assume, looking at it, that they're going
Do
kind
they
of the
have
picture.
other games they're looking at to add to this? Because
Well, the fact they specified Warhammer 40K committee, you have to assume there's other games there.
Mhm.
Like maybe there's an Infinity committee, which is just one dude no one likes in Arizona. Maybe there's like probably maybe there's like other kinds of things there. But to learn
he's
more,
got cancer, John, so it's going to be a real short term for him.
yeah, he sure does. But
Jesus.
learn more about the selection process and apply at usawargaming.org. So under the kind of the assumption that anyone can apply to be captain of Team America or join, Danny, Val, Dickie, and I came up with this list. Well, actually, Val, you came up with this list. We played with it a little bit. These are our top 5 choices for captain of Team USA.
And I
we're
did
gonna
this
start-
blind, by the way. I was unaware of this. I was unaware of the the newly appointed captain. So perhaps a little prescience in this top 5.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, we're going to go for our number 5 choice, which I ranked here as our 5th. Danny, Val, what can you tell me about this choice here, number 5?
Sean Naden, tall,
Yep.
very tall.
What is censored in his hand?
We
I guess
can
we'll
show
never
you
know.
that. That is
His nipples, obviously.
Wow.
that was where the censor bar originally went, but no, he was carrying something very disgusting in his hand. It is in fact a winner's trophy.
Oh, okay.
Which, yeah,
Okay.
not show people
Ooh,
being.
that
that
one-
looks like a penis.
That one was
Yeah,
spray painted gold. They don't normally go that far.
Yeah,
That's
well,
nice.
for Sean Naden, you go that far.
You go
They
big for
voted
Sean
on it.
Naden. That's great.
But what do we think of Dickie and I's number 5 choice for a USA team captain, Sean Naden?
Prescient.
Prescient. That's true.
Prescient. He's tall. He's got long hair. He's done the job before,
Yeah.
and then he didn't do the job, and then he did the job again, and now he's doing the job again. So I mean,
He's rolled that
Who-
rock
who else could
from in
be?
front
Yeah.
of the cave. He's come back to the captaincy.
He's a really nice guy.
Yeah.
it's super awesome, dude.
For sure. Number 4, Dickie and I picked a more controversial choice. Is again a
Uh-huh.
former captain here.
Yeah.
We have number 4, Mr. Brad Chester.
Brad Chester.
Oh wow.
What are our thoughts about Mr. Chester after his unfortunate use of thoughts?
I mean, just as much experience, if not more, much less tall.
Mm.
Yeah. a lot less height there. So doomed to lose any kind of re-election entry
Mhm.
against
That's
a
true.
taller opponent. Also, unfortunate last name.
That's true. That's true.
Mhm.
Number 3, our third choice for who should be Team USA captain is Sean Bluesman.
Yes, of course. Dark horse.
oh.
Yes.
Dark horse candidate. Again, we're trying to say that it's wide open now. Literally anyone could be captain. What do you think about dark horse candidate Sean Bluesman, who is absolutely not just Sean Naden in a hat and glasses?
I think he maybe needs a bigger hat, and his sunglasses fit really weird. So he may need a.
Wait a second. You let me.
Like the clip art's a bit awkward there. Yeah.
You let me.
It looks like he's like raising
Oh,
one
and he
eyebrow.
angled
There
it
we
too.
Oh,
Perfect.
there,
Good.
jaunty
There you go,
angle.
all right.
Yeah.
How about that
Oh,
one?
all right, that's a little better.
Yeah, that did it.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have gone for Sean Heisenberg, given the hat
Yeah,
choice
I-
myself,
I felt-
and the strong connection to cooking meth, which Sean Naden may not have. I mean, I'm just, I'm not starting salacious rumors about
Nope.
the captain of USA here,
I will
but he's very
say
tall.
that I figured just with our demo, according to YouTube, a Blues Brothers reference was far more appropriate than a Breaking
don't-
Bad
they-
reference.
They don't wear pork pie hats.
It's excellent point by Val.
Wow.
And
Also,
that's
they're not-
why.
They're not blues, man. They're blues. It would have just been Sean Blues.
And that's why Sean Bluesman is only number 3 because of all of these inconsistencies in his character.
Okay. Well, that's good. I'm glad we're not gonna just skip over that. All right, yeah,
No,
let's
good.
go. What's
Yeah,
number
let's
2, John?
not skip over that. Let's just move immediately to the
Mhm.
next one.
Mhm.
Right now we have this guy here, number 2. This is Brad Horster.
Now this,
What are-
I feel like this is an improvement
I
on
feel like
the
I've seen this before, to be honest.
I think it's on his LinkedIn profile picture. Is this?
Oh, Horsters, yeah.
Yeah.
Brad Horster, he's been galloping around the field of 40K for years now. And one of the few 40K players to survive a broken leg and not be
Wow.
shot.
That's true. That's
And
true.
nay on a loss.
I do. I do feel, however, like after last year, a bad run, kind of put out to pasture a little bit. But still, obviously, everything to play for here. Brad
Well, he's-
Horster.
look, if he wants to be team captain, he's going to be saddled with a lot of responsibility. But I'm sure he's chomping at the bit to get the job
Yeah.
done.
We took a Gallup poll, and he was number 2. So that's all we can work on here.
Sometimes you just got to make hay.
You do. But I will say our number 1 choice for Team USA captain was not
Mhm.
Sean Naden. It was in fact Sean Batman.
Sean
Oh.
Bateman.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a much better joke. Give me a second here. Boom.
Jokes moved on the fly.
Wow.
Beautiful.
It's
Sean
2
Bateman.
jokes. It's actually like 3 jokes and 1 joke. So you guys are getting really good value tonight.
Yeah,
That's right.
Big time.
Yeah.
Big time.
What does Sean Bateman bring to Team USA as team captain?
Justice.
A lack of parents.
True.
So he doesn't have, any conflicts on,
He can
major
stay out
holidays.
as late as he wants.
As late as he wants, he can be out there. Sean Bateman, he is the Dark Knight of 40K.
Mm.
Solid financial backing and gadgets.
That's right.
He has like this red line that it just looks like a finger dial or a ring, but he presses a button and it draws a straight line on the table.
Actually, one of
wherever it
his
was. Yeah.
one of his toys is behind that censored image right now. As a matter of fact,
Yeah,
Different
for sure.
kind of toy, though.
But we
Different,
can't
just
show you
high-powered.
because it's secret Team USA tech, and we don't want to get sued by the U.S. Wargaming Federation,
oh, the
Or-
Federation.
the
Now that they have
USWF.
the backing of Sean Bateman, I think that they're going to be a force to be reckoned with legally. I mean, they can afford a lot of retainer.
Oh, that's fair. Sherman Master in chat, the old bait and switch, which I think is not my favorite joke here.
Fantastic.
Perfect. That's all I had for my top 5 Team USA captains. I am shocked that I was going to make a joke that it was very obvious who the captain would be, regardless of the process, and we got to make it on the day that they announced the captain. So, thank you, USWF, for really playing into this. But let's make fun of some more internet stuff. Let's go around the net.
Oh God, I'm the worst today.
Mm-hmm.
Top
Just make the
fives of week.
buttons.
It's almost.
I'm really surprised that they didn't go WWF. I feel like that would have been a really solid move for them too.
No one's
Do you
ever
know-
no one's
do you
ever
know-
lost a copyright claim over WWF.
Definitely not even one time.
Vince McMahon lost to WWF. He had to change the name of his entire company. I feel the financial backing, even with Bateman, of the USWF is less than the WWE.
I don't know. I wouldn't rely on that man's legal savvy to get you through another thing. I'm pretty sure he paid about $4 million for a blowjob. So like, I wouldn't trust anything that he says.
I think it's
really.
per blowjob.
Yeah. Thank you.
Now that's to get a blowjob from Vince McMahon or to be
So allegedly, he paid millions in hush money to like 5 or 6 people over a period of 20 years.
Oh.
Oh, I mean, come on. That's yeah. I mean,
Come on.
over.
That's
I mean,
normal.
that's his like career hush money expenditure. I mean,
That we know of.
We're really also Val really happy that his wife doesn't watch the show now.
well, I mean, Vince McMahon is clearly greasy. So I mean, like, I feel like that's a lowball figure.
That's fair. That's fair. One girl, apparently because she was fired afterwards, got a couple million more. But that's not the kind of around the net we're going for here, or even around the mouth. We're making fun of everything here. This is the part of the show where we dive deep into the dank dribble the internet provides. And this week, as always, we've got a lot to cover, including this guy that I found that brings up a much more interesting conversation. It's our regular show characters, where all those Warhammer painters who showed off tutorials to help everyone, and then the guy being left behind because they placed everything that would have been free behind a Patreon paywall. What a great topic of conversation between content creators about paywalling content. Val, Danny, what's your thoughts on this?
I have never felt myself impeded in learning a new painting skill due to a paywall.
I feel like this is justified, to be honest with you. And any podcast or Monday night video review show that does something like this should be lauded for their financial savvy and business sense, and not decried as money grubbing or all in it for the cash, because they're definitely not all in it for the cash, but somewhat in it for the cash.
Somewhat of it.
Somewhat.
So what do you feel? So we do have there's a wide berth of content creators out there on the internet now, and there's some really phenomenal ones who do put things behind a paywall. What are your thoughts about that? Is there a sort of a thing where they're going for like Warhammer is for everyone, so you should teach me your skills for free?
I mean, we're seeing actually stuff like you see stuff like this all in like sort of gaming culture all the time, which is like losing, like especially around price. Like Total War, for example, is having a massive meltdown over DLC prices, and and yeah, like getting nickel and dimed for stuff sucks, but also fundamentally, like I don't know, like these are luxury goods, like they're not things you're entitled to. You know what I mean? Like, and if someone is willing to give their time to share their skills, and if people are willing to pay for it, we live in a world where that is a reasonable thing. So I find people who feel entitled to other people's knowledge or output kind of cringy.
Super cringe.
Yeah. At the same time, though, like there's a lot to be said about the community and the culture of helping people and of sharing knowledge and skills and all that kind of stuff. The thing is I just don't think there's enough stuff being paywalled to make a single iota of difference as to your ability to access that type of stuff. It's more about that particular creator. Like if I want to learn how to dry brush from a specific person and they've paywalled it, well, then I have a choice to make, or I could go watch one of 10,000 other videos about the exact same thing that aren't paywalled.
For reals.
And that's like the issue, right? Is because there's a buffet of content. Like if you have a favorite creator who's showing you an airbrush technique, and then they paywall the second part of that video, you can probably find 10 or 15 other videos. So this kind of comes down to personal choice. If you make a connection with the creator, you want them to tell you how to do stuff, then honestly, it's on you to pay for it to make it happen if that's your choice. We have people now doing this full time, which is amazing. Guys, Dickie, Danny, Val, I really hate to disappoint you. We cannot afford to do this full time at our level.
Nope.
And I would be surprised if a lot of other people can really afford to do it full time without other streams of income. So, like I said, I think there's just a tremendous sense of entitlement from the Warhammer community to like a lot of content.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't have that entitlement. If someone is taking their time, as someone who's, and Dickie, you can back me up on this, someone who's edited and put together videos, if someone's taking like literal hours, because they might only put up a 15-minute painting video, but that video has taken them at least 4 or 5 hours to edit and produce, not even including the painting in between it, then you're going to pay the rate to do that. So
an hour a minute probably isn't a crazy estimate.
That's about what editing time is.
Yeah, an hour a minute. That sounds about right.
Yeah.
So like, and that's why like the type of content we do. No, like that's like you talk to battle report people. Like the amount of hours that go into like 40K and 40 minutes on Play On, for example, it's insane. Like, and those guys are guys with professional workflows. They know what they're doing. They're taking every shortcut that they can possibly make, and it's still an incredible amount of effort to get.
They have job titles.
You know, like they're real people who
Wait a
like.
minute. We have job titles.
We don't.
We really don't, though.
They don't really pertain to
you
this.
guys not have job titles? Because I gave myself a job title for
What is your job title on Grim After Dark, Danny?
Oh, it's masturbator.
Oh, this is coming in as well as Sherman. It comes in with another great comment. This person is upset about OnlyFans. Which, yeah, Warhammer painters replaced that with OnlyFans, and then you're pretty close to that there.
But yeah, like my feeling on Patreon is always been, and like there's some that you get a direct product for, like all the like 3D printing Patreons, like they are delivering output on a monthly basis, and I want that thing, right, for a pretty low price. But for like content creators, like YouTube people and podcasters and stuff, it's more just like a please keep this going. I like it, you know. So if you're if you're really begrudging them for putting their hat out, like move on, you know.
I will say about if you did want to design some 3D files to print out, that'd be great. Maybe just like little birds. Maybe pretend like with Rob that you're like, let me see what you're working on, and then accidentally steal it. Sure, no one would mind. It goes on here. This next one here is kind of like a little buffer one I want to go through here. It's one of my favorite King of the Hill memes, but it's also a terrible point, I think. But it's Bobby Hill holding up the sign saying the Tau doing bad things to survive in the 40K universe gives them depth. It makes them more interesting if they have moral dilemmas. The kids inside being the Tau are the good guys, and if these kids could read, they could be very upset. Danny, Val, very quickly, I just wanted to ask you, is the joke of this meme that Tau are interesting?
I thought it was just Tau.
It's fair. It's fair. But yeah, I guess any thoughts on this guy here? Like, I did not enjoy this concept, and I don't think it's because of the moral dilemma part, mainly just about the shitting on the Tau part.
You mean, do you think the Tau are the good guys? Is that what you're saying? I guess.
Well, do you think that they do bad things to survive?
I think everybody does bad things to survive.
I mean, everybody.
What is Danny,
Everybody.
the worst thing you've
Everybody.
done to survive?
I'm definitely not saying it on a internet podcast.
Participate in capitalism?
That's fair. Big Papa CA coming in and saying everyone seems so sad tonight. I hope all is well. Dude, we're great. We're under the rule of Sean Bateman for the foreseeable future. We're all great and good to go.
As long as it's not Nathan again.
That's perfect. But
Also,
no,
I'm
it's
surprised
just
you didn't go with a non-Satan, just as one of them, like
non-Satan. I literally had 3 minutes to throw it up before I forgot about it. That's
switching the first letters.
Yeah.
Pretty low hanging fruit there.
That's really that's where we usually go. I'm very excited.
Although 3 minutes explains the pork pie hat. Now that you mention it.
There you go,
sorry, I didn't mean to.
That does explain the angle of those
Oh my
sunglasses. For
God.
sure.
I wanted a jaunty hat. I didn't realize that would also mean jaunty glasses. Like, how am I supposed to know these things? Apart from looking at it. Guys,
Because
keep
you're
the
40.
It's true. Very old. But hey, so are you. Screw you. Anyway, keep the licensing coming, guys. 40k Dark Tide hot sauce is on the way. You'll take a couple of hits and then probably never go back to it. But what flavor? What's that?
Or just remain unopened on your shelf for the
Yeah, they're gonna sit there forever.
entire time
Yeah.
you own them.
I opened a couple of the bottles when they first came out, and then I just don't really use it anymore. But what are the flavors in the far future? I want you guys to rate the flavors we came up with on a scale of 1 to 10.
Okay.
So we're going to start with Nurgle's Rot, which is a super spicy sauce based on the plague theme of Nurgle, probably containing ghost peppers or other super hot stuff.
Well, I don't like thinking of rot and my tongue at the same
Yeah.
time.
Same. 2.
Perfect. So we're not fans of that one. Don't want to take the last dab of garbage.
I don't know. I just don't want to eat something called rot.
Yeah.
Like anything with the word rot in it, like that just singularly rot is not
need it.
something I want to eat.
It's fair. It's no good.
I'm probably we're probably like biologically designed to not eat something that is associated with rot. I think that's
true.
no.
Nikki D. Williams in chat, superstar producer of Signals from the Front Line, letting us know 7 obviously is the out of 10 is the number for the Nurgle's Rot.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
It does. We have Corn's Rage, which is an extremely hot sauce made with a mix of habaneros, scorpion peppers extract, and embody the blood for the blood god is the little slogan.
Now I'm thinking about my butthole, and I also don't think I like it.
I feel like this tastes coppery, and I'm not about that.
Yeah.
What's the taste like? I'm having a seizure.
Like a hot penny.
Yeah,
Hot
not
patty.
Betty.
What about Zinch's Changing Chili? It's a sauce that morphs between different flavor profiles and heat levels as you eat it.
Like Fruit Loops.
What Fruit Loops are you
Fruit
eating?
Loops.
Try and like place the specific flavor of the different colors of Fruit Loops. It'll always
it's
change.
artificial fruit flavoring.
Saying.
No, yeah, I hear you.
Not saying it was a good comment, but it came to mind. You know, this one is the most palatable of all of them. I'll give him a 6 out of 10 on this one.
That's fair.
Yeah,
That's fair.
I'm gonna go a 9.
Niner.
6 and a 9. Nice. We have Slanesh Sensation, which is a sauce made to overwhelm the senses, focused on inducing pleasure and pain. Guys, how comfortable are we being erect while consuming hot sauce?
You know,
Why me?
Chinese restaurant entrepreneurs have a phrase for this, and that's spicy tingly. And that's a 9 out of 10 for me.
You meant to put it in your mouth, Phil.
All right, hold on. I've got this is obviously a combo lube and hot sauce, so 6 from me.
If that's true, Danny, that's a 1 for me. I'm not putting hot sauce on as lube.
You're not very adventurous tonight, are you, John?
No, I am not. As the chat's already pointed out, I'm so sad because you're asking me to use hot sauce as lube, which seems
it's the Drake. That's what that movie's called.
The true last dab. The true.
Let's get a couple more in here. We have Emperor's Wrath.
There's more.
There's an imperial themed hot sauce made with holy peppers. This one's gonna ask what the hell's a holy pepper?
It's been eaten by bugs.
Hey. There's that rot again. 0 out of 10.
And finally,
that's on the bug sauce. Thanks.
Eldar Doom. It's a sauce using peppers grown on the Eldar craft worlds, reflecting their spicy and doomed nature. Do you get like an impending sense of heat that you know it's coming? You just don't quite know when.
10.
10.
Out of 10.
Yeah.
That's a passing grade for me as well.
Yeah,
passing. This one here, this next guy I found on Reddit. It says here, how do I hide this? How do I? how do I hide this bull from my most played games? We have like Dead Rising 2. We have Booty Farm here, Vermintide 2.
Booty Farm.
That's
It's just played 41 minutes. That's all it. That's all it did.
Gonna ask you guys though, how to answer that question? How do I hide this bull from my most played games? How do people hide Vermintide 2 from their most played games?
He's only played it for 26 minutes.
26 minutes. That's like watching the intro. Like that's
also like who plays Booty Farm before spending 41 minutes at least figuring out how to preemptively hide this from your playlist.
Played it at least 10 times though. That's pretty cool.
Also, this guy
Very short sessions.
this guy clearly has never like he probably also doesn't realize that whenever he plays Booty Farm, that all of his friends on Steam can see that he's now playing Booty Farm.
Booty Farm. Yeah.
You can turn that off.
And
Yeah,
only
you
for 5
absolutely
minutes. Yeah, but this person clearly doesn't know that.
He does not.
Does not know this.
Agreed.
No. Moving off of this here to a serious question. Val Dining Dickie, describe a Warhammer 40,000 themed dating game on Steam.
Jeez.
A Warhammer 40,000 themed dating game on Steam.
Yeah.
Oh, I got it.
Okay, go.
Yeah. Who's the heretic? And it's an inquisitor trying to figure out which of her online news sphere connections is actually a heretic.
Oh.
It's true. Val, got anything else there?
I just find it very hard to think of anything sexy and 40K at the same time. Like it's almost not possible.
I just want it to be like a chaos cult where you recruit new members to your chaos cult by buying them gifts.
What if it's like chat VR, but everyone's dressed like a big titty towel?
This is the future GW is trying to protect you from litigious suits against 3D printers. They don't want people exposed to that.
Big titty towel farm.
Big titty towel farm. Well, now we figured out our funding problem. Val, get on it. Let's make this.
TTF. Gotta love it.
I found this guy also on Reddit. And Val, hopefully your expertise can help out here. Is asking the question, the Imperium or the Space Skaven? And it's followed by the Eric Condry. Why would you say something so controversial yet so brave? Which I don't understand because this doesn't seem immediately obvious to me.
Well, I guess just that I suppose that there was a really good commentary I watched about various fantasy factions in which the Skaven were described as like the allegory for late stage capitalism, which I thought was really, really awesome and a lot of fun. Perhaps they're just referring to humanity's teeming out of control population, constant bickering, infighting, and murder, and sort of haphazardly half understood technology.
Danny, you look quizzically off into the distance when Val was talking there.
Yeah, I'm just listening to Val's description of that. Yeah, okay. I mean, that makes sense. I guess I could see that. There's an argument here for sure.
Nice. What are we here? Awesome. This next guy here was something cool I found. It says, every rule I don't like is a typo, a child's guide to wargaming discussion. And I'm going to open this up to everyone here. Which rule do you really dislike? Open game system, Val.
No, some like 40K, like a lot of them did get tweaked and fixed out of the 10th ed stuff. But I will say that I so desperately relate to this, where like where I at the very least I will admit to hoping it was a typo, or even being like that's got to be a typo. But like I don't think every rule I don't like is a typo.
What is there a rule you can think of that you're like that has to be a typo? I hate this.
I feel like all of 7th edition was like that.
Was it a typo?
No, it just felt like that. Like, how could this be? Like, Danny, anything like specifically springing out of your brain?
I remember going to an 8th edition tournament with Skaven for the first time, and I had to ask the TO about 15 questions about how the Doom wheel worked before we started playing. So I feel like there was a lot of typos in that rules section because it was like real weird.
Did they
That kind
rule
of
in your
stuff. I don't
favor?
know. Most rules I don't like are obviously a typo. I mean, it was a mistake on Games Workshop's part. They didn't know that I didn't like it, and so they just ran with it anyway. But they'll find out soon enough with my sternly worded email.
Yeah.
If it
Dear
weren't
sir or madam.
if it weren't for GW constantly affirming the fact that they believe Estampa should be almost 1,000 points in every edition, I pretty much every time I read that, I would think to myself, surely this is a typo. They couldn't possibly want to do this to me. But no, this is not the case.
No, they do. They do
They
want to
do.
do that.
Specifically me.
Yeah.
Just you.
7th edition was just a drunk intern with a typewriter missing 3 letters, and they were different letters every day. Free Radio Armageddon's coming in here saying, what's fun now are rules are getting paywalled. You have to just trust your opponent knows the rules or buy all the books. I'm going to start this one by hardly disagreeing, but I don't know, Danny, Val, if you guys want to jump in on that one.
When haven't rules been paywalled? They've always been in.
I mean, yeah, I don't really know what to tell
codexes.
you. Well, maybe for other games, maybe that's what they're trying to say. I guess.
Yeah, I think
I'm not. Yeah.
I think
I
on
think
the
for me-
I think he's referencing the app, so you can't actually access the rules on the app if you don't have the codex.
I know what he's referencing. It's
Yeah,
just the rules have always been paywalled because
Right.
they've been blocked behind books that you had to buy.
Yeah.
Do you know
Yeah.
what you can do though? Is you can be like, sure, can I see that on your app, please? And the important part of that sentence is the please, because otherwise they'll say no, and then it's a judge call. If you guys could change one rule, any edition, any game, what would it be?
Oh, current Phantasm. Just
You mean-
change that goddamn rule.
Wait, what?
They did already.
No, change it again.
Why? What are they
Make
going
it-
to change it to?
It is just the dumbest rule in the whole wide world, and it just is bro. Also, and can I add a little last stab of the Incarn? Can we change that rule of all her rules?
I mean, that's a unit, not a rule.
Change her.
but-
Remove her. Change her. I don't care. Make her a bookshelf ornament. I don't care. Hate it so much.
Oh, hey, hold on. We got another comment
hey.
from Free Radio Armageddon here. Age of Sigmar, say what? Free rules, laughing face. So yeah, we're talking about real games though, not Age of Sigmar.
Oh.
Hey.
I think my favorite thing of
Also-
Age of Sigmar was it was free to learn that I was better if I had a mustache.
It was
Also,
free to
is
learn that it
AOS
was a bad game.
Is AOS even still free? I think that hasn't been free since the beginning.
Their app is free to
I
build,
think the
but I don't
rules are
know.
free. Like you can look at unit data sheets, but you can't look at like some of the rules are free. So it's like sort of the case. I think some of like the equivalent detachments, whatever they are, like the formations or I don't know, battles for war scrolls, whatever. I think some of those are
Yeah.
locked behind codex purchase and code.
I remember going in and like I hadn't there's Danny has his own special little section for talking about his awesome list on our Discord. I hadn't been in a while and I went back in and all I could see was people discussing like the most bizarre, stupidest conspiracy theory I've ever read. And I went down 9/11 rabbit holes. But this is literally the stupidest thing I've ever read. was
Rabbits did 9/11?
that is one of them.
Wow.
But
That is stupid.
deep.
but someone saying that they were short shipping 40K product to the US in order to sell more Age of Sigmar models,
Oh, for
which
God's sake.
you can easily counteract by the fact that I've not been able to buy Lichguard in like 6 months or Oracan in 6 months. That has not made me want to go buy like Age of Sigmar models at all. It's terrible.
Your insatiable hunger to buy a box of Games Workshop models does not move to AOS.
You
Like-
depraved asshole.
Like, I mean, I've been there. Like, I want to buy something, but usually that just results in me ordering battle foam or something. Like, I just, like that's kind of where I go to. You just get like some weird hobby tool,
Kim L coming in chat, let us know Sigmar shit is out of stock too, which is obviously just a conspiracy to make you buy more 40K things because Sigmar is also out of stock all the time. Wonderful. We're going to move on here to this next guy. This one I found. Danny, maybe do you want to use your beautiful ways to explain what we're looking at here?
All right, so we have a picture of Ahriman using some magic powers, and superimposed over his psychic casting arm is a picture of a medical picture of testicles, and one of
Testicular
them
torsion.
has,
That's testicular torsion.
it looks like he's having some testicular torsion, and the words say "good argument." Unfortunately, I cast "twist of fate," which means he's twisting the person's balls. I think that's what it's designed to
That's
kind of
kinda
entail.
funny.
My feet are
100%.
tingling right now, even just looking at this photo.
That does
Your
look
Feeling
it
like
would-
my feet, like it's just that like glancing nut blow thing again.
100% correct.
My
Yeah.
balls are tingling.
I'm gonna
Same
ask
way,
you
like, in a
guys.
bad way.
I'm gonna ask you
Don't like
guys
it.
and chat the same question. Which character in Warhammer can cause the most testicular pain?
Urian Rakarth.
Oh, what does he do?
He's the master homunculus.
Yeah.
He could do
Took it
a
very
lot
literal.
of shit to your nuts without.
Does he just
like,
clone you extra nuts so he
and
kicks you in all 37 of them at the same
maybe
time?
you'll have different ones. Maybe you'll have a dog's, or maybe you won't have any other, or there'll be internal now. Who knows? Like, he's a wild man.
And his first
Fair.
name
To hurt your
is
balls.
a derivative of urethra. So I mean, right there, it's in his name.
Boom.
It's true. It's true. Val, who causes the most testicular pain in Warhammer?
Who causes the most testicular pain in Warhammer? I can't say anything bad about any of these guys. Look at them all. They're so beautiful on their horses. I don't know. The big lizard.
No
Specific-
external testicles, doesn't understand how much damage he's actually doing. Good choice, Val.
Don't justify his random comment.
I was hoping you'd use your hostliness to go move away from me, as my mind is a piece of shit.
That's
that
true.
could prove anything
Let's go
funny.
to. I had to buy Dickie the most time. Dickie,
You already
Dickie,
rattled off 3 things that are giving him personal testicular torsion.
Yeah.
that's fair. But which character in Warhammer can cause the most testicular pain?
I believe the answer is quite clear, and that's Fulgrim.
Not the
he would-
in-card?
No. Well, she
Not a
gives
bad
me
choice.
personal
That's fair.
torsion of the testicles. So he would probably give that just by looking at his beautiful body.
You think
That's
your
true.
balls would just twist up? Like,
I think they would just twist right up.
I
Yeah.
think my balls twist
Dude.
up just thinking of moving the model of Fulgrim without breaking it. So yeah, that works on many levels.
Nick
Well, but
Curdy
no,
with the
no one really
triumph of
plays
St.
30K,
Catherine.
so that's
Great
fine.
choice.
What was that, Danny?
The Nick Herding in the chat with the Triumph of St. Catherine. Great choice.
Oh yeah.
Awesome. We also have the servitor who zips up your pants. Imagine serving your entire life into the Imperium and then being lobotomized and turned into a pant zipping robot.
Shouldn't have stolen a loaf of bread, John.
He was trying to feed his family.
Beautiful. Moving on.
Not
we
allowed.
we have. Oh, can I please move on? I'm kidding.
No, you can
no,
move on.
I-
I'm sorry. You're just not allowed to steal a loaf of bread without becoming a servitor. That's what I'm
That's
saying.
fair.
I'm sorry.
That's fair. This one was also on Reddit. I blacked out some names, but he was asked to leave GW.
Again? Oh.
So I had a game booked for 6 and arrived about an hour early because I live pretty far from the shop and I had just finished work nearby. I browsed for a bit and spent £40. We did reveal that he is in the UK. I pulled out a little stool and perched and had a little browse of the index cards I just bought. When the manager realized I was there for the 6 game, said I couldn't hang out with them or for another 40 minutes and asked me to leave and said I could come back at 5:45, which I was polite about and did. Afterwards, I kind of feel this guy was a bit of a dick and regret not saying anything. Opinions?
Huh.
I mean, do we have enough information to truly judge this scenario?
I give you guys, and Danny,
For
maybe you can-
example, is he the type of guy who brought his own stool?
I'm gonna say I was gonna play a couple nices. I pulled out
What
a
kind
little
of stool
stool,
was
which makes it seem like he either brought his own or
That's
used
what I
one,
usually do is bring my own stool.
You
I
bring
usually
your own
don't use
stool?
other
Oh, you're
people's.
the stool guy. Yeah.
or maybe the GW manager was restocking shelves and he pulled the little step stool away to sit on and look at index cards. Yeah, is
I'm
he
just-
the asshole?
Yeah, I think bullshit here. I mean,
Yeah, like so he said an hour before, so he arrived at 5 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
And then
he
spent $40 in
and then
40
spent
pounds in
yes,
5 minutes.
Easy dumb. Easy dumb.
and he has
Whoa.
to wait. No way. This is
Wait a
bullshit.
second. He spent 40 pounds, but then he browsed the index cards he just bought. So he bought 2 packs of index cards. Is that
Maybe.
$40? Yeah.
No, I don't. What? No, they can't.
That'd be 40
Look, I'm
pounds.
not going to speculate on what he did or did not purchase.
Yeah.
The important thing here is that he wasn't allowed, that 40 pounds wasn't enough for him to hang out for 40 minutes. So this guy might be the most annoying person in the world. That, I mean, if it could be a situation like that where the GW store manager just doesn't like this guy, that's possible. Or
Oh,
it could be
yeah.
that the store manager is just a dick, and that's also possible.
Danny, you have a storied, long career in gaming retail before your current role.
Yeah.
Have you ever had people show up and just not leave you alone?
Yes.
And have you had to ask them to leave?
I wasn't allowed to,
Oh no!
But you would have.
but I would have asked them to leave if I could have. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's
But let me tell you, John, you
Yeah.
can only hear about some random person's D&D character like so many times before you just want to end it all.
what is the literal worst conversation you had at your time at an unnamed hobby store that no longer exists?
Probably the guy who just came in and wanted to tell me that I was wrong about all my thoughts and opinions on anything that I espoused when he was asking for advice on how to build his army.
I mean, that's why the internet is.
Hey, Danny, did you by chance look at the notes or the slideshow beforehand, even though I know you don't have access to it? Because let's
I
move on.
absolutely, well, I do, but I absolutely did not, John.
Oh, perfect. Well, let's move on to the next one here. This is my personal pet peeve. I found this on the competitive Necrons page, a place where I've been spending a lot of time recently trying to get better at this whole game called 40K. Apparently, you have to play. I don't like that part. But he says, I've got 2 big tournaments coming up. All units on my list have been chosen based on scoring potential, with the core of my army being the fairly standard 2x20 warriors, Caesaris, and a monolith. I've play tested my list. I've had mixed fortune, so wondering what I need to tweak, brackets, if anything. Main concerns including not enough anti-tank and Orphidians being so squishy. I've been spelling Orphidians wrong for a long time. I generally prefer tactical secondaries, but occasionally play fixed, typically cleanse and deploy. Listing comments and suggestions on how to tweak my list appreciated. We can go back to this here, Dickie. Next slide here. This is the list that he's doing. We can come back to this. But mainly what I wanted to highlight is this next couple slides here, where people give him general advice, like says Caesaris just isn't super competitive right now.
I mean, that's absolutely wrong. But yeah, okay.
Monolith got nerfed pretty badly with changes to Overwatch and Towering. Do you feel that's true?
Also
No?
wrong.
Also wrong?
Yeah.
Well, his response to this is, if you go to the next one, I agree, says Caesaris is borderline.
Wrong.
And this is the reason why I want to. I agree the nerfs didn't help the Monolith, but I still rate it, so I'm going to keep doing it. Danny, what is your thoughts on people who go onto the wonderful internet, ask for feedback on their list, and shit on every person's feedback and say their list perfect?
Yeah, this sucks. Like, don't do this. This is a bad use of your time. It's a bad use of other people's time. Like, just don't go on the internet to purposefully decry other people who are trying to help you build an army list because you're not sure yourself. So maybe listen to some other people's advice and figure out whose advice you think is trustworthy or worthy for the changes that you'd like to make to your list.
Val, what? Sorry, Danny, on you go.
No, it's okay.
So say,
That's
Val,
it.
why do you think people go online and ask for help, but then ignore all of it?
So, because I've been this guy, and I've also been on the other side of this guy. So, like, I get it. I think what this is probably someone asking a group of people for advice that either responded with this guy's shit, and then gave them like just very brief things to replace it with, which is also a bad way to respond to these things. Because usually, like, you kind of need to ask more questions to really get into like why people made certain choices. So what he's getting into here, and yes, this is annoying, is why he made the choices he made. And really, this person needs to be speaking to someone who can really help weigh out sort of at a higher level why those choices are good or bad. Whereas like going to just like a generic advice channel where, maybe you're going to have a very, very wide range of quote competitive skill in there. I don't know how useful that is,
Mhm. I would
so,
say
yeah.
if we were sponsored by a company like Art of War or another company, that we would say go get professional coaching from them, but we're not. So don't do that.
But even like it's just I don't know. I just have I don't even I don't do this anymore because I know that I'm going to get answers that don't satisfy, like often will not satisfy the thing that I'm actually wondering about.
I will.
Like
Yeah,
because like
I will.
usually what this is like the person has a fluffy choice in their list that they want to justify taking that sucks and they want it in the list and they want to then like justify why the thing doesn't suck. But as Danny just
Oh my
pointed out,
God.
his choices maybe
Danny's
varied a
oh
bit
God in
more.
his
I don't
list,
know.
but-
No, we just pulled up his list on screen here. Danny's initial
I'm
reaction of
reading it.
"Oh God" is fantastic. We
I'm
have
going to rate this list a 2.3 out of 10.
Oh,
Bad.
oh,
Bad
Not a good
score.
list.
I don't know if anyone knows how a 10-point scale works, but that's
I
bad.
will. I was gonna say, I will say, like I've abused Danny for years now for list help and advice, and something I've always appreciated about him. He was like, "What do you like about this?" I'd be like, "Man, I love this weird gimmicky unit no one else uses." Like, okay, like how do we play around this? Like, whereas a lot of times you'll go online to these places and be like, "Hey, how do I improve my list?" And all they do is like change it to whatever one or two lists work for everyone.
Yes. That's
And whereas
Which is also not helpful, right?
no,
Yeah.
but it
whereas
can be because maybe you're the type of player who needs to go there first. You know what I mean? Like you got
I
like
feel personally I'm a much better player because of the years of Danny teaching me what goes well with the weird kooky shit I want to run. Rather than like I have to relearn how to play the list of the week every 2 weeks.
so Danny, like the two things that he pulled out there were two things that you immediately defended, and then you saw the full list and you're like, good God.
Those are like
And
the only good things in his list.
So that suggested
All
the
the
advice
rest
he
is
got
bad.
was that suggested the advice that he was getting from this forum were to take out the only two good things in the list, which
All right,
again,
hold on. But like, here's the problem, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's spending. Do you want me to rate the go over what's
Yeah, you
wrong?
go
with this
through.
list?
It'll be very
What I
helpful
think
for the
is-
upcoming game. It'll be great practice.
Yeah. Okay. So I think he should not take a technomancer. I think technomancers. So get something else, get something good in there instead. You definitely shouldn't take the sovereign coronal on him. I think that's awful on that model. I think maybe putting that on the Hexmark Destroyer is a better choice if you're going to take it, but it's the only thing it's going to be affecting is the monolith because you need to drop the Doomsday Arc. The Doomsday Arc doesn't do enough damage for its points. In fact, I would say I wouldn't worry about taking anti-tank at all because if they're putting combat vehicles into you, the chances of them being able to kill 20 warriors in one go is like real freaking small. So that's what you want to lean into is how durable your warriors are. So you need, I feel like instead of the Chronomancer and probably even Oracan, since you don't have, I feel like what's good with him. And I'd also drop the Lord and the Overlord. I don't think they're worth the points. They maybe the Lord. I don't know. The Overlord at 110 though is real overpriced. I guess he gave him a 30-point thing or a 25-point war gear item. Anyway, but like that stuff's not that good. Lean into the durability and then lean into scoring. Don't lean into anti-tank because it's not going to be worth your time if you're just trying to win the game by scoring.
Yeah.
So like the first question I always ask people when they ask me what they should do with their list is, what is your list trying to do? How does your list win the game?
Yep.
Yeah. It was always the most frustrating thing where I would craft this great list that I was really excited about. And I would show it to Danny to show off. He'd be like, how does this win a game? And I couldn't answer that question. And it would get really frustrating because I would then just go and lose 3 games.
I mean, like,
yeah.
To like Danny's, like that question is also very important because sometimes the point is not to win the game. The point is to like this list does this because I really like Orc the Diviner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's cool.
And then that also would change. That would probably change Danny's advice. So how do you make that? How do you make that right? You know, like how do you get the most out of the thing that you want? And I think that's really like with like competitive gaming in general, like whatever, like if you're not really in it to win it and you're not looking to have the most optimal tuned up thing, but you still want to have fun, you need to kind of understand why things are optimal and what makes them the best choice so that you understand what disadvantages you're playing with and try and compensate for them.
Like, the monolith in this case is decent in this build. I think it's okay. It's a lot of points, but the way that towering changed like really affected it and made it better is that you can hide it now. So you can actually hide it behind terrain and then tow into terrain when you actually want to shoot or fight with it, and then start like utilizing its abilities. But it's a great way for you to get your army up the table.
I bought a monolith this weekend. I'm very excited, mainly because the box was so freaking giant and chunky. That alone made me excited for it because of the sheer size of the thing. Beautiful. Well, Danny, that was great practice for you because it's time for a brand new Grim game with no bumper, so you know it was last minute.
Nice.
But I did want to remind you that, did you know, with a membership to Best Coast Pairings, who have technically sponsored us ever since we were Mob Rules, they are the world's leading tournament pairing software, and you can look up events from all over the world and even see the lists from those events. Europe might be 6 months ahead of the curve, but you can simply steal those lists with your BCP membership. This week, we're going to be looking at this event, and what I've done, this is a 6-round event from somewhere in Europe called Invasion 40k, 85 players, 6 rounds. I have picked 5 lists at random, and I'm going to be asking the panel a simple question. I'm going to give you guys 60 seconds of reviewing the list, and I need you to tell me within 5 places where that list finished the event.
Okay.
So if you guys, if the list finished 10th, I would accept an answer from 5 to 15 from placement, just to make it a little easier because I felt otherwise it was far too hard. But any questions about the rule set? Dickie, you get to play too. Chat, feel free to jump on in. Any questions before we get started here?
Oh, I'm fucked.
Let's go. This is an impossible game.
And as Danny said, it is much harder now that it is a much more balanced game. Knowing that a lot of the factions are more balanced. But let's jump on to our first list. Please feel free to talk amongst yourselves, figure it out, and stop watch.
Oh my, come on, dude.
What
the fuck
stop
is
watch.
We gotta do.
Is this in Finnish?
It is very hard to compress lists of this size, Dickie. If you want to figure out a way to make that embiggered,
No, it's impossible.
This
is streaming. This is the
Did you maximize
Joe
the
at
window?
Wargames Live figured it out. He just uses big pictures.
Is this? Sorry, go ahead, Val.
No, I was filling for time.
No, you're good.
Do you want me to run down the list for?
Yeah, run down the list.
And then so it is a Votan list. It's got an Iron Master, a Champion. It's got a Call, another Call, some Hearthkin Warriors. It's got the Thunderkin. They're quite good. It's got the Terminator guys, the Hearthguard, and then it's got more Terminator guys, and then it's got the Pioneers, the bike dudes, and then two land fortresses?
Yeah, so 2 units of Pioneers, 2 land fortresses, 2 Sagittars,
Sagittars,
2 units of 9 Hearthguard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's 2 land fortresses?
There's
2 land fortresses.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, I
Interesting
did
choice.
try to make this as big as possible.
We'll fix it next
dividing
time.
things
Don't
up.
worry. This game will only get better.
I can read it. I mean, I can see the words.
Yeah.
They mean nothing to me.
No. But yeah, so how do we think this Votan list is?
This is
this
an
from this
85
weekend?
85 player field from the first slide.
85 player field. These are all taken from Invasion 40k, run by Christopher Jacobson. I want to say it's from a Nordic nation based on the names of the people who ran this list. 85 people.
And when was it?
Last weekend, September 22nd, 23rd.
And we have to choose the placing that it finished?
Yeah,
So
so
this is post balance slate. That's what you're. That's
Yeah,
what you're saying.
post
That's the
balance
important
slate.
thing.
23rd.
So, all right. And so, Val, you said 23rd. So that means if the answer is between 18 and 28,
Mm-hmm.
then you win.
Goddamn right.
Okay, go, Danny.
Okay, 6th.
6. So that's if it's between 1st and 11th. And then Dickie,
30th.
30th, of course, with that 25-35 classic spread. This list here, Danny wins. This was the first place
Wow.
list from this event by Eric from Warhammer. Which would be the team name. This was the winning list. I thought this was a cool one to start with because it's a Votan list, which again, you said before the balance update.
You said, Danny, at your event, they came second?
Yeah.
Nerf them.
Votan are real.
Nerf.
Yeah, they're real
Especially with this many the Hearthguard. Those guys are like Terminators. Each of those squads is like 400 points.
Yeah, they're
So
real
you
good.
have to get rid of them. One of them ignores all penalties or modifiers, which is wild.
Danny needs to get on Thursday show with that kind of prescient
That's
snap
not exist anymore.
quick draw analysis. All right.
Whatever it's called now. So yeah, moving on.
Meta chasers. Woo.
We have list number 2 here. It is a 1,000 Suns list. I'll run through it really quickly for you guys.
Yeah, they used to be good. Okay.
We have Araman, Magnus the Red, 1,000 Sun Sorcerer, and Terminator armor. He does have the Umbralific Crystal. We have a Zangor Shaman with the Lord of Forbidden Lore upgrade.
Yep.
And then we have 9 Rubik Marines. We have 10 Zangor, a Rhino, a Mutalith Vortex Beast, a unit of, I want to say 10 Scarab Occult Terminators.
Yeah, that's
a Hellbrute, and then Zangor Enlightened.
Dickie, I think you have the best shot at actually guessing this, so I think you should go first.
Okay. Well, T-Suns are not what they used to be, for sure. I'm going to say 25th.
Okay. 20-30 for Dickie.
23rd.
23rd. Okay, now I have to write down numbers.
$0 this guy.
18 to 28. All right. Danny, where did this list finish?
35th.
35th.
We're all wrong. Probably.
Big money.
75th.
75th.
This is what makes me think it's a Nordic event because this is 75th by Torbjörn Sandvik.
Yeah, that probably
part of Team Hammer.
Team Hammer. It's the recursion that makes the team good.
Yeah.
We got 5 rounds of this?
We can do probably one more, depending on who else wins. We have I wanted to do this one because this was a Tyrannid list based off the new codex. It has Death Leapers, the Warlord, a Hive Tyrant with Hunting Grounds, a Winged Tyrannid Prime with a Neuronode. We have another Winged Tyrannid Prime Naked, 2 units of 10 Gargoyles, a unit of Biovores, of a single Biovore, an Exocrine, 2 Maliceptors, 2 Neurolictors, 2 Ripper Swarms, 2 Tyrannid Warriors with melee weapons, and 2 Von Ryan Leaper units. Where does this end? Dickie, Danny, you guys did the Tyrannid recap of the Codex. Danny, where does this list finish?
Man, this is a crapshoot. Because this guy could have gone first every game and just won because of that.
Yeah.
I would say this is probably higher than lower. So I'm gonna vote 20th place.
20th. Dickie, what you got?
I'm gonna say 10th place.
10th. And then Val, bringing up the rear. What you got?
23rd.
Nice.
23rd again.
31st.
Wow.
All went away. And you're right, Danny. He's kind of a crapshoot because if he went first in every round, you would have to imagine he would be higher than this. Next up, a whole bunch of Eldari crap.
Oh, Jesus. I hate reading these lists.
Death Jester with Fate's Messenger, Farseer, the Vizark, Ivrain, Guardian Defenders, 10 of them, Storm Guardians, 10 of them, 2 Hornets, 2 units of Shadow Specters, 2 Skyweavers, 1 D Cannon, unit of the 5 Swooping Hawks. We have Harlequin troop of, I refuse to read that, a large amount, as 180 points.
Yeah.
We have Warp Spiders, 5, and then allied units, an Archeon and 3 Ravagers.
12, technically.
12?
This one, interesting. It's got some really good parts. The Ravagers are great. Yvrain is good, although I don't know what unit she goes in here, like maybe Storm Guardians or something. That's not good.
I'm just taken aback by the unit classification other data sheets.
Yeah, that's how it is now. Yeah.
That is, yeah. Battle.
Fascinating.
It's basically everything else. Battle line or characters.
Oh, it's not just other. Okay.
And
cool.
dedicated transport is the other one.
Okay, I'm gonna jump on the old
Do
golf cart.
Do it.
here
Where are we
and,
going?
30th.
30th.
Yeah. Okay. I know Val's gonna do his patented 23rd.
Wow.
so-
I feel like it wasn't a good joke to start with because I wasn't joking the first time, but the 6th.
6. Ooh. Danny,
23rd.
23rd. It's all exciting. It's all very close together. And I can't even remember because I covered them with the box.
Worst placing Eldari faction.
Ninth.
Ninth gets one.
9th. Val gets a point.
dude.
You did it.
Get
So
this
we're
game
currently
is so hard.
1 point to Val, 1 point to Danny. 1 round to go. And I don't have a tiebreaker, so Dickie, do shit.
Let's go.
Moving on to
Feel
this
it,
next one.
craving that action right now.
This
Here
is
we
an
go.
Astra Militarum list.
I got this in the
It is
bag.
led by Lord Solar Leonidas, Ursula Creed. It has Cadian Castellan, Cadian Command Squad with the commander, some veteran guardsmen, Commissar. We have 3 units of Cadian Shock Troopers. We have 3 units of infantry. All of those guys have autocannons. The Cadian Shock Troopers have a plasma gun and a melta gun. For infantry, we have 3 units of Karskin with plasma guns and boxcasters. And then we have 2 Basilisks, 2 Hellhounds, a Manticore, 2 individual Scout Sentinels, and 3 Chimeras with heavy flamers.
Mhm.
Where did this end?
69.
69.
A good one.
Nice.
Nice. Sadly, there wasn't 420 players, Danny.
It's just gonna.
I know.
I was
Go
at a
42, but then I decided against it, and that was
Nice.
as close as I could get. I'm going to go 27th place.
27th, in the 85 player event. Dickie?
12th.
12th.
Yep.
All wonderful guesses. However, they were 84th.
4th.
Wow.
I knew you were gonna pick
Asmund
last.
Hoggard. This was the highest ranked person who played all 6 rounds
God bless you,
Uh,
Asmund.
For him.
and came dead last.
I was
with
at,
that hero card list.
I was at a Canadian football game on Saturday, and because we have the Rouge in Canadian football, which means you can score 1 point at one moment in the game, the score was in fact 4-20, and I laughed.
Oh yeah, we're grown men. Before we sign off, we're going to check the mailbag for listener questions. It's a Krieger bot Chaz special, as I've literally ignored his questions for a month now. As we move on away from the impossible game that will very
It
likely
was
not
so
come
hard.
back. Maybe we'll increase the spread. Who knows? But he asked, what is Grimm's position on handies and crowded theaters?
Crowded theaters.
Oh, Danny doesn't seem to mind. Okay.
Well, I mean, just don't get caught or filmed,
Yeah,
in
probably a
front of
good
the
call.
nation, especially if you're a public figure. It's probably not a great idea. So none of us are obviously doing that as public figures ourselves.
We have blankets. Remember, Danny, when
Just get a blanket at the movie theater. They sell those now, you know.
one of my
Popcorn.
one of
It's
my
like a
favorite
drive-in
stories.
Special.
One of my favorite stories is we were asked as a podcast from Op Rules to donate to Charity Hammer. So Danny and I had gone to the movie theater to watch, I think it was Fast and Furious 7 or
course.
8.
Mhm.
It was one of those. It was a classic time.
Yeah.
And we saw they were selling blankets in the movie theater. And I was like, what the hell, man? I spent my whole life as a teen trying to avoid getting caught when I could have just bought a blanket at the movie theater.
Sanctioned.
Yeah,
A sanctioned blanket.
we donated a hand job blanket to Charity Hammer. So I think
Lightly
our
I was gonna
position.
say, you guys take it out for a test run.
So I could say our position on it is pretty positive, shall we say?
Is recline deeply in the seat would be the position.
Take the back row.
This next question here is for Danny and Val mostly here, but who are the absolute worst, John's emphasis, Warhammer Fantasy Battle characters?
The worst characters.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like if we were to do a worst
There's some bad
character ever
ones.
for a fantasy battle, Danny, who would you want to do?
Tyrion.
Oh.
Yeah.
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 He's a
Um,
pretty terrible character.
Who's the supreme patriarch of the colleges of magic?
Balthazar Gelt.
Balthazar Gelt.
You're not a Gelt fan, huh?
He does some shady shit in the end times.
Dude, hey, welcome to Astalia, gentlemen. That's pretty good. I was gonna say any of the Lizardmen characters that have the really stupid names like Itsy Bitsy, like get him the fuck out of here.
Who's the flying guy? Who's the guy on the
Tic-tac-toe, baby.
Tic-tac-toe.
And don't forget he rides on Swoop, named after the Dinobots.
Also,
Well, that
they
just
have
makes
a
them
relic
cooler.
called the blowgun of Patui.
Oh no, that's
really?
Oxalotl, the chameleon skin guy.
Yeah, something of Patui.
Yeah,
I think that's more.
Yeah, it is Patui. It's terrible.
That's more respective of working culture than if they actually tried to ape it far more, just by going ridiculous. I would say. And then his final question here, and this pulls up another podcast, is Grim After Dark was called the TMZ of 40K by Innes Wilson on the most recent stat check. Does that make stat check Mad Money and Innes Jim Kramer?
Is this your laugh react?
It is my laugh react because it's my polite way of doing it.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's
Who
probably
else would it be on there? Who else would it be?
Innes is probably right more often than Jim Kramer.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's kind of
I've been
unfair.
right twice. But no, it was called up because there was other shows. Because he suggested when talking to Jeremy on StatCheck that they do a TMZ style show about the London GT drama and put it behind a paywall. And let me tell you guys, if you're doing a TMZ style kind of entertainment show about Warhammer, it doesn't work putting it behind a paywall.
No, that's not gonna fly.
Does not fly whatsoever.
And you'll be hearing from our attorneys. So be aware of that.
Absolutely. But yes, no, it doesn't, because that puts too much onus on StatCheck as being a legitimate thing, and we don't recognize it as a podcast.
Oh, wow.
Although, I am
More like a cultural phenomenon.
I'm a big fan of Dark After Grim on the Best in Faction podcast network, though. That's a good show.
Look, it's a really unique background to have a red tapered curtain that literally 2 podcasts use. That's all that matters.
Hey.
So yeah,
we were here
that's
first.
even we were here first. As soon as Danny passes the bar in what do we have, 6 months, a year? What we got left?
Yeah, give me 8 months.
Give you in 8 months' time, we're coming for you. But until then, charity money's safe. But anyway,
It's an escrow.
10 months.
Anyway, 10 months. Damn it, that just throws my.
Sorry,
whole
that's
thing out of the
too
window.
late. Actually, that's past the statute of limitations.
Damn
We're
it.
going to be boned.
He's smart. That little Vernon man is very clever. But anyway, thank you everyone for joining us here on Grim After Dark. You can find all of our socials and ways to support us at grimafterdark.com. We will be back next Monday live at 10 p.m. Eastern-ish. And if you can't catch us live, check the recordings available 24/7 on YouTube. And remember, when your life feels like a never-ending siege and things can't get any worse, join us here because it's always grim after dark.
Just spitball on that one, huh?
It's time to step into the grim darkness with nerds gather talking Warhammer madness. Grim After Dark, the podcast with the hosts John, Danny, and Val, but they're not the most. Claiming to be experts, but it's all a facade. Talking about battles and dice rolls, they're all odd. Trying to sound cool with their Warhammer talk, but I'm here to expose. It's all just squawk. Nerds, everywhere I see talking Warhammer this, like it's a decree. But let me tell you, homie, it is all just a game. In the real world, homie, we are not the same. So put down the dice, step out of the dark. It's time to live life, nerd, make your own mark. Grim After Dark, the nerds playground. Talking Warhammer this, acting all profound. But when I listen, it's all just a bunch of noise. I love roasting nerds and their stupid ass toys. Stupid ass toys, I wanna grab them, put my hands around the neck, squeeze, Warhammer squeeze, until they can't breathe again. Tell a friend, I'm out here roasting nerds again.